Hey everyone, it's Ken and Adria here from Northern Viking Explorer. Today we want to do a quick review for you of the entertainment and activities of Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas. We recently took this ship to Alaska and had an amazing time. There was so much entertainment and so much to do. And we want to share our thoughts with you, so let's go ahead, dive right into it. So let's dive into the entertainment and activities on the Ovation of the Seas. Do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the spa tour,
Okay.
which is, I know, is not your typical idea of entertainment, but I was really impressed that they offered a very fast spa tour. There was no high pressure sales. They show you the facilities, you walk through.
Yeah.
We were probably done in 10, 15 minutes. I saw everything, any question you had, you could have answered.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't mind the spa tour, but I do not like when it drags on for half an hour, 45 minutes. I just want to see the facilities and sit in the warm chairs.
Yeah. So I really like that. That was great. Thank you for not making me sit through multiple little seminars.
Yeah, and if you do want to stay longer and have them explain more, I'm sure they are willing to do
they
that.
will, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Do you have some more?
Yes. So, overall, the music, the dancing, and the technology were all amazing.
100% agree. I think you say technology, that was baffling to me, some of the stuff they did, especially in the Royal Theater and in the 270.
Yeah. That is where I felt like this ship really shone. It from the theaters.
This, like the 270, the Spectra's Cabaret, the show, the visuals, the screens, it's phenomenal, the technology in there.
Especially if you were coming with kids, they would love it because there's so many things happening up and down, and the screens are moving and visually stunning.
Yeah. I think it was the first night we did something called the 270 Experience. And that was in the 270, of course, and it kind of explains how the 270 works and what's involved in it and demonstrates all the capabilities of it. And it was a really cool show. You said to me it's kind of like a Universal Studios experience. And they show you how they made the different shows and how the robotic arms work and all that kind of stuff.
It's that mix of entertainment and education kind of together. That was good.
Yeah. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the sail away party was fun, but it wasn't. This is actually, maybe, I don't want to call it a wish, but it's not as big and spectacular as
some others.
Dance party-ish. So if you're, it was more mellow.
I think the audience cruisers were more mellow though.
Yeah.
And so that kind of reflected.
It's also Alaska versus maybe the Caribbean. But it was still fun, but it's different experience.
Not as many people dancing or joining in. It was.
Yeah. So.
I have to say, though, I really appreciated for all the shows, they were easy to get into and see.
Yes.
The Spectre's Cabaret, we did reservations ahead of time. That would probably be the trickiest one. However, I noticed like 10 minutes before the show, there was still seating. So I'm not sure if there is standby or not.
I would assume there probably is standby. Even the other big show, I'm trying to remember what it was called, A Beautiful Dream in the Royal Theater, which is their other big show, one of their other big shows. Yeah. There was still seating right before it started. Yeah. And maybe not the best seating, but there was so much good seating in there where they were still good seats.
Yeah, which is nice because it takes away that stress, because we have been on other cruises where they have run out of seating for their main shows, and we've seen people get quite upset.
Yeah.
So
we've seen arguing and yelling, and
it's great when you're in the middle of it, when the person's you're arguing at the person, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So anyways, it had nothing to do with us, but it's like, so there was none of that. No. I never heard anybody stressed about getting a seat. No. It was like, it makes it more relaxing. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. As for the acts, so there was fun. Like there was a comedian. He did a couple of nights. There was juggling, kind of magic acts, all that kind of stuff. Super entertaining.
And the dance parties.
The dance parties, yeah.
You know, our cruise director, Brian, he is very talented. So he wasn't just a good host. He was great at hosting and being out and meeting the cruisers and shaking hands. But clearly you could tell he's also a singer and a dancer.
Yeah.
So he joined in and was really a part of many of the acts.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen before. So I was caught like kind of off guard by how sometimes you'd be like, that's the cruise director up there.
Yeah. No,
So
he did a great job.
that was, and brought a lot of energy.
I 100% would agree. There were some other fun activities. So I think about, honestly, I really, really enjoyed the napkin folding demonstration.
That was
They did
good.
a towel folding one as well, but that was more watching. The napkin folding one, they give you a napkin and they teach you how to make all sorts of stuff from candles to bananas to pyramids and things. So.
And you know what? There were so many activities. Like, you can't do them all because there's multiple things happening at one time.
Trivia and like guess this tune or whatever.
There was also like a photo hunt.
A scavenger hunt.
Yeah. And you could tell that people were really into this. Like, families were doing it.
I think it was a multi-day scavenger hunt. So you got your list early in the cruise and you had to check back in with your selfie photos later in the cruise. So
I could tell people were very passionate about some of the activities they were involved in. So people definitely had their things they like to do on the ship.
Now, I do want to mention, so in the Royal Esplanade, in the Amber and Oak pub, when we'd walk through there in the evenings, there was commonly karaoke going on or a performer in there. And that was a really cool venue.
It was always nice to walk by and hear the music.
Well, you could hear it from the outside as well. You didn't have to be in the Amber and Oak. You could have been probably in Sorrento's next door and heard most of the music and stuff as well. So, but there seemed to be a fair amount of seating in there as well.
It was really nice.
And the same over in what's the two-story, the mini theater with the dance floor.
Oh, the music hall?
The music hall, yeah. So they'd commonly have performances in there, dancing in the
And
evenings.
that was a big space.
Yes, yeah.
Like, for a side venue, that was impressive. Like, a good-sized stage and a dance floor and
Well, and that's where
two-level seating.
they did other stuff like the napkin folding, the towel folding. Another one I want to mention is Canada Day celebration they did in there as well. So we went to that. They made a big cake. We had Canadian trivia.
It was fun.
Music trivia and stuff, and that was led by Brian, the cruise director, as well. And I appreciated that. So not only did they do regular stuff, but they added stuff like Canada Day. They did a 4th of July celebration as well.
Yeah.
So.
And now, one thing I really enjoyed doing was doing the North Star.
Yes.
Like, that is pretty cool to do.
That was one of the coolest things on a cruise ship.
So explain what the North Star is.
So up, I think it's deck 15, I want to say. It's probably higher than that because you go up the stairs. But there's a big arm that goes up in the air, and there's a
ball.
Like, I want to call it like kind of like a car from a gondola at the end of the arm, and you stand in there, and it's 360-degree views, and it's gorgeous. It was really neat. We did it during the day in Skagway, I believe.
Yes.
So they have times where it's complimentary. Usually that's when you're in port. And they also had times where you would pay. So at sea you would pay.
And those were extended.
Yeah.
Like, so it was longer. And then they're also generally, depending on weather and other factors, they can go sideways and they put it over the side of the ship.
And then they did it at the Glacier as well. And I think that was probably the most expensive time to go.
It varied in price depending. So we did the complimentary one. Skagway is really beautiful with the mountains, so it's actually a really good location. We actually came back on the ship and did that, then when we got off again.
Well, it was actually good timing. We picked a time, honestly, right around lunch, so we came back and got some lunch and did that.
And all the clouds had dissipated by then, so it was actually worked out really nice because it was cloudy in the morning. So
so I would definitely try that out. At the very least, do the complimentary one if you can fit that into your schedule. That was lots of fun. Any other likes on your list? There's so much we could talk all day, but
you could talk. I was just amazed by so many things. So
the shows were really good. The entertainment, just so much fun.
Yeah.
Wishes. I do have a couple wishes, and one of them I didn't know where to put it in.
Okay.
So the app crashed a lot.
It crashed a lot.
Like the Royal Caribbean app on the phone.
Sometimes it gave me the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
People be like, just follow the time on the app. 'Cause
No, multiple times throughout the week, it was the wrong time. And then when you restarted the app, it would be the right time.
So there was a few things. There is like a free messaging that you can message people in your party.
We did that a couple of times, but
I
most
heard
of the time we
people
were
say
together.
it was delayed and stuff. So we didn't need it because we just follow each other around. But but I saw families like they're like, oh, the message just came through now. It was like 45 minutes later. So
yeah.
Not super prompt.
Yeah. Did you have any? I have one more wish.
Okay.
It's more
I have a few wishes.
Okay, why don't I do mine and then you can go through yours.
Okay.
Mine is more based on Alaska and taking this ship.
Okay.
It's I wish they had a naturalist on the ship.
I love the naturalist.
So
idea.
when we've gone to Alaska before, it's usually on the glacier day where you're sailing through the fjords or whatever it's called. There's someone on the loudspeaker explaining what's going on, what you might see, just maybe some history and all kind of the technical stuff about what you're doing. And it just actually made the glacier day that much better. And I did miss that. We went out on the deck and I was like, hey, where's the naturalist? And I almost came to expect it, and I was surprised there wasn't one.
I like it too because sometimes you're seeing things and you're not sure like what you're seeing. And is that typical or why is that happening? So it makes it, I don't know, you feel like you walk away knowing so much more when they have that. So I did miss that.
Yeah. But that's all I had for that.
Okay, now I feel bad coming with some wishes.
Okay.
You have a short wish list. But I'm going to talk specifically about each of the major shows.
Okay.
And I did follow in, we joined the Facebook group for our week cruising and also another Ovation of the Seas group. And I also saw their people's comments. So I kind of want to give a general thing. The Live Love Legs came with a mature warning. And in general, I felt most people kind of gave the overall feeling that they felt that it was too sexy of a show and they would have preferred more of a family friendly.
Yeah.
So my wish is that as they develop these shows that they keep more of a family theme in mind.
It was a very Vegas feeling, that show.
It was very, very, let's say, very sexy and you could feel uncomfortable there.
Yeah.
So my wish is stay on the family friendly, go a little less sexy. Then moving on to A Beautiful Dream, which, by the way, was some of the most amazing, like, visually, like, I was so pulled into that.
That was an absolutely fabulous show.
And I really enjoyed it, and I hadn't seen live some of the things that they did. But one of just the wish, it reminded me of the movie Up. Where his wife dies in the beginning, and that's kind of where the story stays. And it's really kind of sad feeling, even though it's like beautiful and pulls you in. It does kind of leave you feeling, oh, that's sad, like a really sad movie. So I wish it's like more upbeat and happy, but just the things they did in that production was
the performance, the singing, the dancing,
was that what you call a puppet or whatever? Like they had that big, just it was amazing.
Really cool. Yeah.
Really cool. And then like I hate picking on things. Spectre's Cabaret was really visually cool, but the storyline was kind of boring.
I would agree. And when we walked out of it, when it was done, that's all people were saying.
Like
not just us. It was, and even there was on the Facebook group, just nonstop people saying, I didn't understand it.
So the individual, like, sets were amazing. Like the
dancing.
singing, but the story bringing it together was kind of lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always wish this. We always wish that hot tubs stay up longer. We kind of touched on that. We always talk about people are still wanting to be out.
There was some open till midnight, but I do wish there was
But then they got cramped.
they got crammed. Yeah,
Like they're too full, so
especially when you have the beautiful solarium indoor facility
that could be open.
that could be open till midnight and it shuts early.
And that way you could then
Yeah.
have your adult only. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be in the solarium till midnight.
Yeah.
Um
I-
and this is another app thing or like online programming. Some of the things look full before you cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And so you may not be able to get reservations for it, but more reservations open up when you get on the ship.
Okay, yeah.
And even the North Star, we
Yeah.
couldn't book that until the day before in the evening.
Yes, so when we went on it in Skagway, the reservations didn't open up till... So someone on the ship who worked there said they opened around 9 o'clock the night before for the
I think it might
following
have said
day.
6 sometimes. But
6. Yeah, so don't quote us on the time, but the day before. So in the evening we went on and booked our North Star for the following day. That was the complimentary one. But even still at that point, half the times were gone. Like the really good times were gone. So
if there's something you can book ahead of time, book it. But don't fear, as soon as you get on the ship, try and arrange, ask.
be, go talk to people.
Be assertive and find out.
Yeah.
So, but such amazing, like, especially the visuals and the technology, really amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. What a wonderful ship the Ovation of the Seas was, and we had an amazing time. So that was definitely our entertainment and activities thoughts from the week.